Hello, hello, hello. Patricia here, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, and more specifically here in Alaska. And today we are going to look at some of the tools of the trade, if you will. And just like with any occupation or any thing that you do, you need the right tools, whether that's cooking or working in the yard or as a farmer or, driving or whatever it is. You need the right tools. And some of the tools that we are going to look at today, some are really necessary. Some you really, really need to have. Some are nice to have and make your job so much easier, but not all of them fall in either of those two categories. Some of them are just, boy, that would be so nice to have kind of things. And so for those kind of things, you don't have to have them, obviously. That's why they're in that third category. But I'm going to show you some of those tools that you really do, even if you don't absolutely have to have them, they are really nice to have. So let me introduce myself. I am Patricia Hauser, as I said, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States and more specifically here in Alaska. Stampinwithpatricia.stampinup.net is my website if you want to purchase any of the supplies that you see here, and I will have numbers, order numbers in the below for you to order them. If you need to contact me because you're having trouble with anything or just want to ask a question or, whatever, stampinwithpatricia@outlook.com. My Facebook page, you can search for Stampin', no G, with Patricia, no spaces, or use the link down below. I am in the process of creating a new series called Welcome to Stampin', because I've had a lot of people who have never done stamping before, and they have joined me recently on this quest to be creative, to be crafters, to make cards. And so there's been a lot of questions, and because I do live so far north, not everybody can come over to my house. As a matter of fact, almost nobody can come to my house when I'm here in the village. By the way, I am going to try to do another village tour video this afternoon and try to get that up within the next 2 or 3 days. The host code for the remainder of February, which is very, very, very short, just a couple of days left, is 6HQKU3SE. After that date, if you want to email me to get the new host code, I will be more than happy to send that host code to you for whatever month it is, even if it's, way out down the future. Oh, by the way, another thing, if you'd like to join my team, we are in the process of, well, we've already created the team. I started to say creating. We're not creating it. We are growing our team right now. And so if you would like to join us through the end of February of 2022, you can get 2 extra stamp sets totally free. So of course I would choose the most expensive ones that you like, that you would use, and add that to your kit order. The kit order is $99, and you can order $125 or up to $125 worth of product out of either of the 2 current catalogs. The mini catalog will go away the end of June 2022, and the annual catalog will go away April 2022. Okay, the first thing we're going to look at is the Take Your Pick tool. As you can see, I have 3 of them. I absolutely love them. I use them a lot, obviously, or I wouldn't have them. This set right here is $10. Now, I will say this. The main reason you're going to want the Take Your Pick tool is if you have a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. If you are doing embossing, well, not so much embossing, but if you are doing die cuts, you are definitely going to want a Take Your Pick tool or some tool like that. Of course, I highly recommend this one. I really like this one the best. And part of the reason is because you're going to, I didn't even bring, let me see if I've got a die here. And I do. of course, if I'm cutting out a die, say like this one, then I want the take your pick tool, and I can poke out all the little die bits that get caught in there, in addition to, as I pull this one out, that cut this. Now, you'll notice this cut it out somewhere right there. So, okay, that one. And I snipped parts off of this. You're going to want your snips as well, but just cut, maybe make it look a little better than that without those two sharp edges. But there we go. I now have some admittedly black leaves to put on a card somewhere. But I need my take your pick tool. Where did the other one go? Here it is. To poke out those little bits sometimes if they don't fall out exactly how I want. And you'll notice that I do keep them in the case, or often keep them in the case with the die that cut it out. But sometimes we have these really intricate dies using our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and we need to poke those out. And so I can run, I put it away and didn't even show you. So I can run that brush over the die to get all those little bits and pieces out, or I can use the pokey end and push them out like this. And you'll notice all the dies have these little round dots that have nothing to do with the die cut per se, but it's so that you can poke those things out. Okay, so if you have a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine or die cutting machine, this is almost one of those things you can't live without, because when I have not had this available, I have gone around my house looking for something else. Now, I have been able to use the tip of my scissors, but I don't have anything that is a brush like this with nice stiff bristles that I can use to poke out everything. If I use the scissors, the tips, I have to poke, and besides that, then I take the risk of cutting myself. Ask me how I know that. Okay, don't ask, you know. Then there's also, as you can see on here, the putty end. The putty end will pick up those little bitty die. So if I wanted to pick up this little bitty die piece there, then I can pick it up. And if I want to, you know, put it on a card or whatever, I can do that. I can also pick up, you know, little, what am I trying to say? The sparkly bits. You know what I mean? I can't even think of what they're called. Oh my goodness, I'm losing it. But if you want to use that, then, or if it's gotten kind of old and cruddy, you can peel that off and then roll up some more. Okay, and roll out some more putty. And then you just kind of poke it down on that end, and you're ready to go to pick up your next little item. There's also this spatula end that you can use. Let me get, hold on. Some basic jewels. And of course, they were across the classroom. So if I want to, you know, I shouldn't open that because that's not what I normally do. What I normally do is take a pair of scissors, cut the edge off like this. There we go. And then I have this in here. And I can take this and pick up my little rhinestones in this case and then put them down on the card. Love that. I didn't use that a lot when I first got it. Now I absolutely love it. It makes it so much easier. Okay, and of course I'm going to have trouble because you guys are watching me. It's all your fault, don't you know? Of course I'm teasing. All right, so it's got that. Then there's also this end piece on it. It's got two different ends, a fatter end and a skinnier end that you can use either on your paper trimmer. Okay, so if you want to use this, say I've got a card in there, or cardstock, I should say, and I want to score it. Now, I can use, this is just a Post-it note, so but you can put it in there and score that. Now, you can also score it with your scoring blade, but either way. But you can also use this on your scoreboard. There is a scoreboard. I have one. I just don't happen to have it here. I am at my school up in the far north, and I had decided I was not going to bring that particular item with me because I was trying to conserve space, but I will be bringing it back after spring break. I found that I miss it too much, so there you go. All right, so I'm going to put my scissors back in its little protective cover, and this then is, now I've got some, oh look here, I can use that little, since it didn't want to blow out, you can use that little picker-upper putty end to pick up that little piece that I now need to throw away. There we go, and put that back on. Okay, so I do keep this, I actually keep this one right here in, and of course it's not wanting to fit, in my little carrier here. I actually have two of these that I have on my desk. They don't match because I made them at two different times, but those little holders are so convenient. All right, this is the Take Your Pick tool. The next thing we are going to look at is probably one of my absolute favorites, and this is the Simply Shammy. This is a brand new one, and I'm essentially creating two different crafting studios. So I'm rebuying all of my crafting supplies. So I happen to have a new one because I need one at school, and one, you know, I need one at school, right? And then I need one here at or at my home as well. All right, so I have this Simply Shammy. I have it in essentially a case that our stamps come in. You can buy these. I think it's a pack of 4, and I don't remember exactly how much they are. But I keep it in here because it is moist. Okay, so if I were to really try to, yep, I could squeeze a little bit of water out of that. I just re-moistened it and washed it out. And be honest, I mostly wash it out just with plain water. If it were to get, if I smell it, it smells a little moldy, then because I do have it in a closed case, then I would use a little bit of soap, dishwashing soap, and just run it under warm running water, run that soap through it, and clean it out. I've never had a problem doing that. But what I'm going to do with this second one is I'm going to cut it in about half. It doesn't have to be exact. And there we go. And the other half in quarters, or it in half as well, the whole thing. This one is quarters. The reason I am doing this is because with these 3 pieces and a whole one, when I go to clean a stamp, I will usually have, I mean, it'll have ink on it. It will be on my stamp block, and I want to clean it. Well, you know, that's good, but there are times when I just want to bring this to, now this is not all that wet because I just opened it up, but sorry, it's shaking the table. So I did get a little bit more on there, okay? So this is not clean because when I did it on here, because you clean a little bit better when you take this to the stamp. I always suggest that you clean your stamps. It is not a good idea, in my opinion, to leave them dirty when you put up your supplies. See, I can match them all, but I need to cut that evenly, but I didn't. And I'm going to put all of them in here. So they're all here when I need them. I don't have to go look for it, but that's the Simply Shammy. Love, love, love my Simply Shammy. Now, the 2 things that we have looked at, whoops, wrong page, were the Take Your Pick tool on page 151 in the current catalog, And there's the take your pick tool, there's the brush, and there are the putty additions. You do get 2 putty ends when you order your Simply Shammy. So really, your Simply Shammy, your take your pick tool. So really, when you order it the first time, all you really need is the take your pick tool and the brush. And the brush tip is $9. Okay, and then of course there's the scissors and your bone folder, the replacement for your cutter, the replacement cutters. You don't need a replacement score blade. It's already on there, and that's not going to wear out. The blade on this is what wears out, and so you may want to at some point. You don't have to buy that when you first get it, of course. Let me get these out of the way. Oh, the other thing I was going to show you then is the chamois, and here it is down here, number 6 and 7. 7 is the stamp case. You get 4 cases there with those, and then of course the Simply Chamois itself. Do I recommend 2? Not necessarily. I sell this, so of course I want 2 of them. I love them. I use them a lot. So if that's the case for you, then yes, you may want to have 2 chamois. But again, it's not something you have to have. All right. Another thing I'm going to show you is this. This is such a fantastic tool. And you'll see that I've got a little brush here that's actually about 1/6 of this. I cut it in half. I cut it in half again, or 1/8, and then cut it in half again. This came in, we don't sell these anymore, which I think is kind of sad. But if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, guess what? You can get a Paper Pumpkin refill for the Here's to You, which is fantastic. And it happens to have a lot of great supplies in it, and including some oh my word, I can't think of my words today. There's some clouds, some scenery pictures, basically a sunrise, sunset, a starburst, whatever you want to call it, and some stars. And these come free in the set. It is a great set. Even if you didn't get the original, it's worth it to me to get that silly little sponge, because we don't sell them anymore. But what you do is you take and cut it in half, cut it in half again, or in thirds, whatever works for you, and then in half again. And then you can take and put your little jobby on there, and voila, you have another little dauber. Now, it's really sticky, because what you do is, you saw that die cut that I had. If I want to put this die cut on something, then I can put it down here. I can squeeze out a little bit of glue. I can take my, I'm going to put it back on my original, put my glue on there, and then tap it on here. And as you can see, I now have, I ripped it because I've been fiddling with it so much. I've got glue all over the back of this leaf set, if you will, and now I can glue it on my card, and it's so easy to do. There we go. And it's all glued down. I've got glue all over it. Now, it doesn't stick very well to plastic, which is why it's not sticking on there. But you'll notice there are little daubers and bits on there, and so I can just pull those off and throw them away. And then, this is my silicone mat, by the way, I forgot to tell you that, but my silicone mat, once this dries, I can just rub that off with my thumb or finger or whatever, okay? And another thing you can do with this is take a stamp. Let's say, let me find one that's pretty. Do I have anything right here beside me? Of course not. Oh well. Let's say I've got this, I've got these flowers, and they are going this direction, but I want them to go this direction. I can use this silicone mat to stamp on here, and then put it on my paper, and rub it down, and voila, I have the backwards view of this. I'll show everybody how to do that in a tips and hints video here pretty soon. Okay, so that is my silicone mat. This then is great for those stamps that, now I know I got a stamp out here. Oh, here it is. That are photopolymer stamps. Okay, so if I want, let me pull this up, to stamp this, let me put it on my my block. If I want to stamp this, if you look at these two stamps, this is the photopolymer, this is the red rubber. And if I look at those, you see how the red rubber already has a sponge on it? Well, this one, the photopolymer, does not. So if I stamp on this, okay, put this on here and I stamp on here, but I've got this underneath of it, it gives me that cushioning so that when I stamp on here, it's got something to press into. Now, I don't actually have ink on there, so let me actually pull. Now, this is a tree top, so, you know, we would want the rest of the tree. But I push my, or press my stamp on there with the mat underneath, and there we go. I get a really good impression. Let's try it now without. And you can tell just a little, well, shoot, I got something on the back of that. This is just a piece of paper, like print paper. But you can see over on this side, it didn't go very well. Now, let me try it again. Should be able to do a little bit better than that, even without that pad underneath. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Let me try this one as well. Now, you'll notice as I'm doing this, that one didn't turn out as well. This one actually ended up being the best. So you may, you know, depends on what you're doing with it. But let me show you something that will alleviate all of those problems. This, I absolutely love. This is a stamp positioner pad. This is Stampin' Up's version of this. Whoops, let me cover up my ink. And it comes with two plates. They can both go in here on the side or on this side. And this is all open. So if you had a 12 by 12 piece of paper here, then you could have that totally open. Now this, it also comes with this pad. This, again, is for these photopolymer stamps. So let me show you what you do with that. And again, it's just a piece of paper because this is what I have right here in front of me. I'm going to put that piece of paper on there, and I'm actually going to pull out my magnet on the back. There is storage for two magnets. You do not want to get these magnets close to each other, and you certainly don't want to get your finger between these two if they do happen to cling to each other. All right. Okay. So I'm going to put my stamp in there. I'm going to put my magnets on there. You can hear them click. And then I will close this. I position it where the stamp where I'm going to want it and put it face down. Now I had not cleaned it, so it did have ink on there. So let's turn that paper over. I don't want to. Okay, there we go. And now we'll put some ink on our stamp again. Sorry, it's shaking it again. And let me move it up so you can see it. I hope you could see it before. Okay, let me ink that up just a little bit better. There we go. and press it down really good. Now, if I didn't get the results that I wanted, I can ink it up again and stamp it again. And that's what I love about the Stamparatus. There we go. That is the best version of that out of all of these. I know you probably can't tell a whole lot, but this one, because I could stamp it again, and if I want it even darker, well, by golly, I can do it again and get even a darker image. There we go. Oh, now that one I did move. Okay, that's the problem with it, is that you want to be sure you don't move it. And if I hadn't done it that third time, I would be fine. So let's do it again, because it really is just fantastic. All right, let me show you something else. Let me move this. So notice these plates just go in and out like that. Very nice. I'll show you a whole video on just the Stamparatus. It is probably one of my absolute favorite tools. And I'll show you so many things you can do with it. So there we go. Stamp it nicely. Be sure it doesn't move. It may have moved just a smidgen bit there. Okay. But we'll see. I think I got it back in the same position. No, I think it's just fine. Okay. There we go. And sometimes even slip your finger under there. There, doesn't that look great? And let's do it again. Prove you can do it 3 times. There we go. And there. See, isn't that great? Now you can see how this one has just a bit of a shadow. This one, oh, just perfect. And that is the beauty of this. Now, if you do want to use the Stamparatus, I'll just do this real quick with the red rubber stamps, then let me put that one over there. Ah! Ooh, you don't want to catch those. And I'm just, again, going to use a piece of paper. Sorry, that's just what I happen to have right here with me. And again, I will put my magnets on there. Where's the other one? Here it is. There we go. Make sure that this is not going to hit any of my magnets. There we go. And I'll stamp this. You know, stamping this black flower makes me think of, if you watch NCIS, it's about the only TV I actually watch, and I don't watch it as TV, I watch it as DVDs. But there we go. I want to do it a little bit darker, but she always wanted black flowers or black roses or whatever it was for her birthday. Kind of silly. All right, do that again. I'm going to hold my paper down, and there we go. How awesome is that? This is probably, this and the Take Your Pick tool, I already moved it off, are probably a couple of my absolute favorites. Now, are these absolute need to have? No, they're not. But they really are close to that, yeah, you need to have these. Okay, so something to think about. And then when I want to put everything away, I can put my magnets back on the back. And there we go. Get any papers and whatever out of the way. Put the little pad back in here. Now there is another pad that you can get with this that has the grid on the front of it. And I actually have it, I just don't have it right here with me. But I highly recommend it as well. And then just put that on top. Okay, let me go back to the catalog so that I can show you this. And here we go. Whoops, wrong page. Here we go. No, where is the Stamparatus? Okay, I've lost the Stamparatus. Hold on one sec. I thought I'd marked everything. Stamparatus is page 144. Oh, I was on the right page. I did mark it. Okay, so here's the Stamparatus. And here's that extra mat. Number 4 is $6 with the